back to another episode, guys. Happy Friday. Thank you guys for being here. We got some exciting news. We got some releases. We got some action. William, my friend, thank you for being here. Welcome. Nice to see you. Thanks for
Hi.
being here. Huh. So, guys, it looks like we got some action. We have a couple releases already that I mentioned, and we're going to talk about obviously the new announcement by Hono, which is the black suit, black symbiote Spider-Man, right? Is that what they called it? I believe so. It's a Spider-Man symbiote suit. So first and foremost, we're going to get into the releases. You guys may or may not know that I don't do release videos, right? I only do announcement videos. And I just wait for the figure to be in hand to make the video of the actual figure in hand. When figures, release, I personally don't like to make those videos because my next step is just to get the figure. So I don't really need to talk about what the figure looks like, as soon as it's released. So that's why I don't. But we got 5 of you guys in here. Let's wait for a few more people before we get started. I don't want you guys to miss any of the drama that we're gonna be getting into because it's gonna get juicy. William already has a lot of negative things to say about.
The only thing positive about this stream is the HIV.
The HIV. Oh man, what'd you think of the debate last night, William?
So I was texting my brother during, and we were just going back and forth, and it was like,
what a nightmare. Did you?
My
favorite part was when they weren't speaking and the faces Biden was making. He was like, I was like, what the hell's going on right now?
Even the CNN guy at the end of it was like, I'm a Democrat. I love Joe Biden. He loves America. But what Joe Biden just did was not what he needed to do to establish confidence. And they were talking about the Democratic Party maybe needing to get him to allow somebody else to run.
Gavin Newsom. They were talking about from the beginning.
California, right?
California, governor of California. Okay. So the plan was in the beginning was Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom. The only way Gavin Newsom could come in is if and only if Joe Biden steps down. That's the only way. They can't just say, "Oh, you're gone." No. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to tell him, "Listen, you can't do this. Too much, blah blah blah." And I think that's the only way it's going to happen. Gavin Newsom said yesterday, "Oh, I'm not replacing him," right? Because he doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
But you better believe something's coming.
Well, Trump was actually coherent.
Huh?
Which Trump was actually pretty coherent.
Well, Trump has never had an issue with that. Trump was never called out for that.
He's had a problem. He has had a problem with diarrhea of the mouth and just going off on tangents and using words in ways that he thinks makes him sound amazing. But sometimes they come off as sounding a little goofy. That's what I'm talking about. But last night he was just like letting Joe go.
Destroy himself.
And then it was just like Trump was doing his little faces. I was like, well, there's some new memes.
That was crazy. All right, so let's say hello to you guys very quickly, and then we can get started. There's 11 of you guys in here. Please hit that like button if you haven't yet. Thank you guys for being here. We got uncarded, always late. This guy. We were 2 minutes late. Okay, calm down. Take it easy. Typical inner customer. We got ads. We got Joker J in the house. Welcome. Thank you for being happy Hono Friday. Alana in the house. Welcome. Nice to see ya.
She's supposed to be getting her permit right now.
Oh, what are you doing? Good luck. Let's see. We got Albert in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. We got on Carter says they should have said that this Spider-Man black suit from Secret Wars. I don't think that suit was a symbiote. That's true.
Yes, it was.
Well, yeah, you can't get a black suit without a symbiote. right? That's the only way. Because remember, before that symbiote, every single Spider-Man has been what? Red and blue. Every single.
The black suit was made on the planet of the Beyonder during
Correct.
Secret Wars, and it turned out to be the symbiote that came back with Spider-Man and
Right.
ended up on Eddie Brock. So yes, it's a symbiote.
And not only that, but from the what?
I said uncarded. He's wrong.
wait. Uncarded.
Wrong.
So how we saw it, how I personally saw it and watched it on the Amazing Spider-Man the cartoon.
Oh yeah, spaceship.
Was that he was right? He went. J. Jonah Jameson's son was an astronaut during the episode. He goes to outer space. He comes back. His space shuttle crashes into New York City because the symbiote rock that they found takes over the whole spaceship. It crashes into New York City. The Rhino's looking for the rock because he's told by, I want to say Wilson Fisk, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. And then he goes and tries to pick up the rock. And then Spider-Man ends up getting shot out into like a sewage system with the black all over him already. He's like, what the hell is this crap? And so that I remember very, very well because I've watched that episode a billion times. So that's how they played it off in the cartoon.
Yep.
Right. But obviously the comic was completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So see, I watch. We got Bo 5 stroke. Let's make it 6. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. There's 12 of you guys in here already. Thank you guys for being here as well. And happy Friday to you all. We got Thule in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. We got the Thor in the house. Hono Black Suit Spidey. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. Yes, guys, please hit that like button. There's 14 of you guys in here now. Thank you guys for being here. Secret Wars 1988. When Spider-Man thought of a new costume, the machine gave him a black sphere. When he touched it, Spider-Man found himself covered in black costume. Is that what you said, William?
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
It's essentially what, but it's alive. It's the symbiote.
We got Chris in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. There's a lot of Joe Biden voters in this committee. Oh, I know. That's why I don't get into politics too much. Even though obviously last night's debate was a big deal. I don't get into politics, at least on the channel. Because I understand that there's a lot of liberals, there's a lot of Democrats that are very easily, fooled and manipulated by the media, and that's a huge problem, right? It's a huge problem. They think that the real information is coming from the mainstream media, which it never is. And so it creates a problem. It creates animosity. It creates division. So that's why I don't get into it. I don't get into it at all. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't vote. I've never registered to vote. I don't play that game because I think politics are for people who are mentally ill. Okay? Like anybody who thinks that there's anything logical about politics is retarded. So I don't get into it. It's all one big show. At the end of the day, they're all friends. Both parties worked with each other. It's a joke. It's all a scam to screw the citizens in any single country. It's not just here. It's everywhere. So that's why I don't get into that. This is it. No, I'm telling you, it's Biden right now has no idea what's going on. So something's going to happen. Luch still gas money. Oh my god. Joe was cooking himself.
Hey, Joe was up past his bedtime.
Yeah, yo, and did you notice like he would start a conversation and it would be like this? He'd be like, yeah, we're gonna, and then all of a sudden. And as he's talking, and I'm like, yo, like what's happening? Yo, it was the weirdest thing. It was very weird.
Yeah, Joe 4 years ago versus
correct. Night and day.
Versus when he was the vice president was, just like, wow.
Leo, how are you, my friend? Welcome. No, you're wrong. Do you even collect comic books or other source material? Typical COVID comic book collectors. I don't collect comic books, but I knew that it was a black suit from a symbiote, not a made-up black suit for no reason, peasant. Oh my god. Yeah, this for you, O'Carden. O'Carden.
Wrong.
Ah man. I just thought last night Biden would at one point forget that he, he was walked out. Can you imagine? That'd be great. Luch in the house. Welcome, my friend. What up? What up? What up? Good to see you both live this morning. Saludos, Mr. Cote. You have he said he was complaining in the chat, William, that you haven't given him the latest coupon code. He said
Well,
you've been selling a lot and no coupon code. There you go.
he
See?
he missed out.
What's in there?
Those are being dropped off. That's the
Oh, is that the
3PO, the Cad
Patriot?
Bane, and some other stuff. No.
Oh, I was gonna say. Amazing Spider-Man
Well,
issue 252. Got?
he's
He's trying to make sure he's right. Spider-Man issue 252, May 1984. I saw the first appearance of the title Spider-Man black costume, which the hero would wear almost exclusively for the next 4 years. See, he collects comics. You're wrong, William. William, this for you.
Wrong.
Oh man. All right, guys. Oh, we got Paul in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. All right, so guys, we're gonna start with the releases. So we have the Mighty Thor, Lady Thor, whatever you want to call her. This is the it looks like right now is the regular version, right? Which the clean helmet, clean mask, clean helmet. This is her without the mask, without the helmet. This is, at least it looks like to me. I hope it's different, but this is looking like the Hela hammer. Remember the one she had that came with the Thor, because she crushed it. So this is what it looks like to me a little bit. Obviously it's different because of the way that was, attached to the hand permanently, to her hand permanently. William, how do you feel about the figure? Are you excited about the figure? Are you getting the figure? Any complaints about the figure?
Oh, it looks good. I saw a side by side of the sculpts of her and Padme, and they look like Natalie Portman.
Right?
It looks just like the figure or from the character from the movie. The accessories look nice, especially like that hammer in the little pieces that was all
Yes.
flying.
Yep.
I don't have any Thor figures currently. I don't plan on having any, but
Wait,
it looks nice.
why don't you like Thor? What did he do to you?
I've had several. I've just gotten rid of them.
Oh, I got you. I thought you meant like you don't like him at all.
No.
We got Ernesto in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being promo code Bidenomics. Oh my god, unbelievable. We got Chris in the house. Welcome. You made it. Nice to see you. Good afternoon, everybody. What film was that biker scout from? Oh my!
How dare you!
Unbelievable. No respect, Chris. No respect. Chris is never here. Okay, Chris is never here. But when he's here, this is what he does. Okay, no respect whatsoever. All right, so guys, so this is one thing that same thing that William said. This accessory here is actually really, really cool. I liked that scene in the movie, right? When this happened, when this thing broke apart, I was like, that is awesome. I never expected them to ever recreate that effect for the figure ever in my life. I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, how they're ever going to do that, pull that off with all these pieces going all over the place. And here it is. And it looks beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Another thing I wanted to point out is this is the exclusive helmet, the battle damage helmet, which is the how I'm going to display her. Even though I'm kind of torn because she looks very, very, very good like this without the helmet, and I don't want to waste the head sculpt, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but she looks incredible overall. William, 1 to 10 if you had to rate her.
I'd say she looks like a solid 9.5.
Right. Another thing,
what
do you
the
think?
body's a good size.
The muscular arms I was getting into. Look at that.
Yeah, Natalie Portman put in a little bit of work for the movie. Like obviously she wasn't trying to get Chris Hemsworth big, but she wanted bigger than when she was in the movie Black Swan. It's
You could
because
see
it's
the
like,
muscularity on her in the movie too. Her arms are
yeah,
jacked up just like this.
yeah, it's just like Gal Gadot, you know, when you actually lift a little bit of weights to just have the appearance. Yeah, you
Right,
might not be able to, throw 1,000 pounds in real life, but you have
right.
to at least, have the aesthetics for it. And
Correct.
she looked pretty good in the movie, and people were, fanboying over it because it's all these little like weebs that are like, yes, crush me. But
And look, another crush me. And another thing I'm noticing, guys, it looks like the hammer lights up as well. So that's a cool feature, right? We've gotten light up hammers, previously for Thor. Obviously not cracked up or battle damaged, but here it is with the light up function, which again I didn't expect that either. I just thought they were just going to give us, some heavy die cast, like they usually do for Thor, right? Those heavy metal hammers. It makes sense, and I understand why they wouldn't for this figure. It's a female, right? There's no reason to give the female a heavy as hammer. So I get why they went the plastic way with the effect for the female character. No complaints there. I don't think we need her to be carrying a 5 pound Mjolnir hammer. So that's why I'm not complaining about that. Holding this pose here is beautiful. Holding this helmet. And here is the whole line. You got so far. I've gotten Gore. I got two of these. I need Valkyrie, and obviously I need the mighty Thor. William, why are you not collecting this line at all? What about it do you not like? Is it because of the movie, or why was it?
I actually enjoyed the movie, but I just don't have any Thors in my collection. Most of my comic book stuff right now is centered around either displaying with actual comic books or like a full line like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that.
Uh, we got Harold. How are you, my friend? Welcome. Thank you for being here, Chris. Zach Davenport, welcome. Yeah, it's tough effect to sell practically. Yep, exactly. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. My favorite Thor figure, periods of absolutely. This is actually also my favorite Thor to date right now. Right here, this fully loaded one. The Thor says, I know cool ice cubes. Biden because they're frozen. Look at the muscle. Yes, and balls. This guy, unbelievable. Unreal. She Thor sucks. Totally. Oh my god, the movie sucked more S than Haynes. This guy, unbelievable. So three portraits on this figure. So you order four. Oh my god, this is for you, Ernesto.
I don't think so.
So, William, if you were to get her, how would you display her? Helmet on, battle damage helmet on, or head sculpt exposed?
Um, for her, I think it would be helmet on, maybe not the battle damage, depending on if she was posed with somebody else fighting, maybe.
Mhm.
But it's a nice sculpt. I like the sculpted hair.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
because it's like when you get that nice sculpted look, it's like it has the illusion of it could be, real hair, but you don't
Mhm.
have to worry about it going all nuts on you.
Right.
Um, but yeah, if she was just standing there, like, because you're gonna have her in a museum pose with a broken helmet, so
Right. No,
uh,
literally.
I
Literally.
know, but it's just it, either broken helmet or a regular helmet. I think because too many Thor style figures, Hemsworth and her, everyone like I want to show the head sculpt because Thor from the first Thor movie, the helmet looked a little odd,
Right.
and um, they even knew that in the movie, which is why he only had it on for one scene and took it off. That way they could try to appease the hardcore comic book fans. But then when you have people that are hardcore comic book fans, you want to have the winged helmet look, and it's just I think displaying her and the blue and gold Hemsworth with the helmets on is just more Thor looking, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like one thing. If Hot Toys decided to reissue the 1.0, the very very first Thor, I think we need one at this point. I mean, not that I doubt it'll ever happen. But that head sculpt is my only complaint. I think that head sculpt could be done way better at this point. And obviously he looked different back then, but that's my only complaint. All right, guys. So next we are getting into our second release, which is this beautiful piece that everybody's been waiting for. At least I've definitely been waiting for. Is this Mark 6 Iron Man? Oh my God! Look at this guy, Loco Lou. Nobody got this today. He's the only one getting this. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm doing. Welcome, my friend. How are you? Nice to see you. All right, so William, we get the Mark 6 gantry figure, right? So obviously diecast. The one thing that made me obviously this is not what I'm about to say is not 100%, but this is one of the things that made me, obviously I would have gotten it anyway, but one of the things that made me really want to get this figure more than any other time, right? Because I try to get everything at least, is these pieces, right? I would have been perfectly fine with getting the regular figure, right, without this huge gantry, right? There, I'm never going to use this. Where the hell is this thing going? This thing is massive. So I would have been perfectly okay not getting it. But the only way for you to get these metal pieces that attach on top of the chest and on the thighs, and this piece for the back also, the only way to get those were to get the deluxe, right? So you had to get the gantry to be able to get these pieces. And if you didn't get the gantry, guess what? You weren't getting those pieces. The reason why I had to get those pieces is because I have about 4 Mark 6s, okay? And everyone, I like the battle damage look. So I know I have a plastic one that's clean, and then I have a bunch of, I feel like the rest of them are battle damage. Because of these metal pieces on here will make the figure look different. That's how I'm going to display it. Obviously, the gantry staying in the box after I'm done with my video and my pictures. But to go on the shelf, he's going to look exactly like this, holding the helmet with all these metallic pieces on. Obviously, all the standard pieces will stay in the box, but he's going to look exactly like this, holding the helmet, like I said, and it's going to have a completely different look of, from everything else I own. William, see, all these pieces only come with the deluxe. William, how do you feel about the figure? Did you order the figure, or are you getting the figure? And how do you feel about the fact that you could only get those metallic pieces with the deluxe? Meaning, what if you really wanted those pieces and you couldn't afford the deluxe, or you didn't want the deluxe?
I really wish I had enough space to have gantries and just, have him set up with all these little effects and everything. This one and the Mark IV with the yellow and
Yes.
gantry. It's
Yep.
like they would just look nice. And I like, just like with Thor, I don't currently have any Iron Man in the collection. Um,
But you've had them, right?
I have. I've had several that have come and gone now, just because of my ever rotating display of stuff. But the head sculpt, I think they're washing it out just like they did with Anakin, where these photographers are not taking well lit photos,
Right.
because that looks like Antonio Stank. It's not even Tony
Yes.
Stank, it's
Yes.
Antonio Stank.
Yep. Look at
And
that.
it's like, that does not look like Robert Downey Jr. from Iron Man 2.
At all.
And
And remember, guys, before you continue, William, remember that I can guarantee you in hand, it'll look amazing. But the rolling eyes and some angles, I believe, and I feel like it's a thing that when they mess with the eyes, some angles make the figures look really, really bad. And this is one of them. Go ahead.
it's I don't know if they're just trying to reuse some sculpts that they have from, because that looks like, the wrinkles on the forehead and stuff, they're a little bit older looking than Iron Man 2, which was how many years ago? And but like I said, it's probably the lighting and the angles and stuff like that, because I've
Correct.
seen It's just like how everyone freaked out over Anakin, and
Yep.
the in-hand photos, he looks, leaps and bounds better
Right.
than what you actually get in those pictures. But
Right.
you
Exactly.
know, the Mark 6, it's a classic Iron Man suit. The what shape is the arc reactor on this one? The triangle?
This is the triangle. Yeah, this is the only one. The
Yeah,
Mark 6 is the only one with the
that's that's the only thing, like, for me, if, the circle is more classic Iron Man than, the triangle for the arc reactor, but, it's
right,
still, classic scene from the movie, stepping in, the gantry, taking everything off,
right.
um, having to get the deluxe to get the parts. It's a business, and if you've already produced how many Mark 6s you said? There's, like, 3 or 4 other ones,
Well,
you
they have
know
the plastic. They had the Avengers one, which is a Mark 6, right, which is the original plastic. They've had the diecast Mark 6 as well. And I think two plastic, one regular, one battle damage. And yes, I do. So that's why I have a bunch, because
Yeah.
I have two plastics and I have one diecast.
So it's, the higher price point of having to buy it to get the extra parts, that's just good business in my
Right.
opinion, because it's if you put all those in the regular version and then you have, just the same stuff in a bigger box with the gantry or whatever, then it's like, okay, why would I want to spend more to get the same that you have? It's just the same thing with, like, the Wolverine, uh Hugh Jackman, not including the Hugh Jackman sculpt in the
Yes.
regular,
Yeah.
is it's like,
Very
okay.
weird. Yeah, very
It's
weird.
no,
Yep.
I thought that was a great idea,
I thought it was so weird. Go ahead. Go ahead.
because there's so many other Hugh Jackman sculpts out there, so if you want another one, it's in the deluxe, and so you get more stuff in the deluxe. It's the same thing with this, you get more stuff if you spend more money,
Right.
and
The reason why it was shocking to me is because if you pay attention to literally every other, release prior to that, whenever there's a head sculpt, it comes on whatever SKUs you get. The one thing
yeah,
that's usually special is the extra piece or the diorama or the base or something for the deluxe. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's always included. The reason why I was shocked and I thought it was weird was because this is the very first time that we get a figure, at least as far as I remember, the very first time you get a figure that is supposed to come with a head sculpt, but they make a separate SKU out of that same character with no head sculpt. So to me, I was like, what the hell's going on? This doesn't make any sense. Right? I understand what you're saying, but to me, if a figure is made with a head sculpt, why would they make a SKU for that figure without a head sculpt? So that to me was very weird. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's just, I think them appealing to the people that have been dying for a Wolverine with a mask.
Correct.
And so then it's like, okay, you can have this and you don't have to pay more for the head sculpt, because if we included it in the regular one, then the base price would have been higher, and then they
Correct.
would
That
have
is very
needed
true.
more extra parts in the deluxe to justify the price bump between the regular to the deluxe, and then everyone would be crying that it's 400 something
That
dollars
is
because
that is a great point. That is very true.
but
Yeah, I
because
didn't think of that.
well, it's these are just classic poses for this Iron Man, and like
Right.
you said, it's just, you have a lot more opportunity. And I know you're not a Maji case collector, even though you at one point were gonna redo that whole wall with $1 million
Oh,
worth of Maji cases.
exactly. I'm still planning on it, but I have to. Obviously, it's not going to happen right now.
Yeah. It's like once you do that, you might actually be able to put all your gantries
Correct.
and have Iron Man positioned around them all like a
Right.
class photo.
Yep. No,
But
really, and that was my plan with the module case, is to be able to fit all
yeah.
that stuff.
Oh, I get it. It's you see the thrones and stuff that I have in mind, they eat up a whole lot of real estate,
Right.
and, obviously, I have nowhere near the number of things that you have behind you, and so, my real estate is limited and yours seems almost non-existent. Yeah. I'm just saying, it's like
No, it's true.
it's like
That's why, if you guys notice, I slowed down on especially a lot of third party. I would get everything third party. I slowed down because now it's I have to be more picky. Obviously, Hot Toys I will always get, right? But everything else, it's like it's just taking up space. Unless it's something that I really need to complete something, obviously I'll get it. But when it comes to just getting all the third parties like I used to, absolutely not. Like it's just I have to be more selective and more picky about what I'm putting in the collection because I am running out of room. And like I always tell you guys, believe me when I tell you, if you're running out of room, you'll find room if you really want to. You could always
Yeah.
figure out a way to, like my new thing right now is removing all the bases. Right, I started with all of the standard Hot Toys bases from day one, right, to keep everything standard. Now I started buying the not now for a while now. I've been buying the third party ones, the oval ones, for years now, and just taking off all the Hot Toys bases off of my figures and replacing them with those little ones because the oval ones they take up a lot less room, a lot less height, so keeps everything more uniform, right? So that's what that's my way of trying to create more space. Not only that, but removing other pieces, removing like the Daredevil came either the Daredevil, the original Daredevil, or the original the Agents of Shield Ghost Rider came with like this crazy base with like multiple parts. I have that displayed. That's next to go into the bin of, get the hell out of here because it's just pointless space taken up because I'm putting a little, attachment accessory on the base that is just taking up, room for no reason. So that's how I'm able to create more space and make more room. And my next step from that is, like, for example, what's behind me right now is the Avengers case. Take everything out and then just reposition everything. One thing I want to do is have them literally standing to the side, like at an angle like this, and I've noticed that that is the cleanest and best way to not take up so much space because if you have figures straight like this, width-wise, you're taking up more than if they were at this angle. So that's my next step. Once I get to a point where it's like, all right, these things don't fit anymore, I got to start angling some of some of those figures. William, um, 1 to 10.
If I'd say 9 because of the current head sculpt looking at me right there.
And rate the head sculpt 1 to 10. Just the head sculpt.
Like a 4.
Really, you think it's that bad?
That lighting right there with how the hair looks and all the wrinkles and the Antonio stank, man, I'm telling you. It's
You don't
if
think he looks better here? He looks
if
better here.
Howard Chan if Howard Chan is stalking this channel, I will take photos. Just send me the figures. I'll light them professionally, and they will look like they will in hand for people, as opposed to washed out, weird lit photos. But like
But
right
you're
there,
not.
that looks derpy as hell.
Yeah, but you're not Chinese or Korean, so I don't think that's gonna work out for you.
I know.
He's like, I know. All right, guys. So I'll give this obviously right now because of the head scope. Again, again, this will be perfectly fine in hand, guaranteed. This is just like I tell you guys all the time. Anytime you mess with the eyeballs, it makes some of the pictures look funny, look funky, look weird. That's why I tell you guys I never touch the eyeballs for whatever reason, just because I don't want to mess with them. I don't want to have to tweak it a little bit and then how do I get it back? That's my fear. That's why I don't touch them. But we've talked about this plenty over time that some of the angles of the eyes will make the figure look funny, weird, ugly. And next, guys, we got Michael Welch's favorite topic because he is very excited about this Spider-Man symbiote suit. So, guys, a few things. Remember that it's a Hono figure. What does Hono mean? Hono means poor, okay? So this is very, very Hono means poor. So this is obviously
Means flame.
this is a very, very basic figure, right? This suit is the most basic type of suit you could get. A lot of customizers will make you custom figures out of this suit, right? Especially when they make figures like those, custom Shazams and stuff like that. This is the type of suits that they use. So anybody shocked about this is unnecessarily, getting crazy over this, because we know, and you should know by now, that Hono, it's not going to be the best high end anything. It's not going to be the best anything. It's going to be very, very well done, basic figures that are licensed. Period. That's all it is. That's all you're going to get. One thing I want to get into, though, as you can see, to date, we haven't gotten a single Spider-Man figure with this feature. Okay, bendable web strings. So to get, and it doesn't mean that, oh my God, this is the greatest thing in the world. Absolutely not. It's actually a very basic accessory, right? It's a wire that you wrap in the plastic, and then there's your movable whatever. The thing is, if this is supposed to be very cheap, right, and it's supposed to be the lowest, priced licensed, company, why are they getting fancy with their stuff? They could have easily grabbed a bunch of, what do you call it, a bunch of web accessories from this figure, which I'm going to get into in a second, because this figure here, as you can see, it's branded the same exact thing. Number one, the Amazing Spider-Man. So they're supposed to be from the same I guess, line. Number two, as you can see, huge differences in the fact that, look at how clean the mask is, right? It's one piece fully attached at the collar, right? So this is what they did here to make it look fancy, to make it look clean, right? Another thing, this material here is the exact same material of the black suit Spider-Man. Same exact thing. Nothing different, nothing fancier, nothing more. The difference is that this blue here is rubber. It's a rubberized, mixed suit with material and rubber, right? So this is how they're able to charge us what they charge us for a standard Spider-Man figure. They get fancy with it, right? Fancy, as you can see. Combinations of materials, fancier stitching so it doesn't look funky, right? Again, this was the very first time they did a Spider-Man like this. Okay, so now my whole point of bringing this up is for this reason. So as you can see, look how ghetto or cheap, right, this looks, right? Look at the collar, right? You don't see that with the red one like I just showed you. You don't see it with this one. So there's your price jump justification. That is only one of them, right? Like I mentioned, you got the suit, completely different materials combined. You got the aesthetics of the figure, right? You got the mask attached to the collar down here to make it look more natural, right? More clean. This here, obviously, they don't care because they don't need to give you something looking like the red Spider-Man for $160, $70, whatever the hell it is. So, William, tell us what you think of the figure overall. Are you excited for the figure? Another thing, I love this backpack, by the way, but go ahead. How do you feel about the figure? Tell us what you think about the price. Tell us what you think about what to expect from the figure overall.
I do like him. I've always loved this suit. It's my only real thing that I haven't really liked from some of the angles is that the body does look a little bit small overall. Because he looks really skinny in a couple shots, but it could just be the angle, the perspective, whatever. To like the neck joints and stuff, it's like, it is what it is, where you can pose it to where you can either minimize or eliminate seeing the seam from different angles, but it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if they didn't have, the separate parts to be able to move freely, then, it might, bunch up or stretch or something like that. What, Brad? What, are you okay, Brad? I I bit the like button. You're
he's
supposed to hit it, not bite it. But
he's being he's being an inner peasant as usual.
but you know, it's the logo looks nice. You do still have swappable eyes. Yeah, you don't have, you
Yes,
know, 30 sets like
correct.
with the Hot Toys versions, which is fine because you don't need that many. The bendable wires is nice, and like you said, why would you try to get fancy with this instead of
Yep,
recycling? Because if they recycled, people would be like, all they're doing is recycling the same
yep,
unused parts from
yep.
Spider Monkey that they just have laying about.
Exactly,
and it's
exactly.
like, you know, if they did that, everyone would say that they were cheap and trying to rip you off, and then you do something new and it's like, why is this with the cheap figure and not with mine? Well, I
Correct.
can almost guarantee you it'll start coming with
Hot
Spider-Man
toys.
coming forward,
Absolutely. Yep. Exactly. That's what
because
I was
like, you know,
getting into. Go ahead.
it's like, you know, the price point 175, you know, it's not as low as you would hope it is, but um like I told Fabs, it is thank you code eligible today, and if you have reward points, you know, you can get them down, and mine was 120. You know, that's a to me, that's a great price point for a Hono figure. Um, Even though I already do have a custom black suit Spider-Man, but I look forward to having them side by side to see which one I like better, and
Right.
maybe pulling a Luch and putting a different body in here and seeing how that looks. But with the Spider-Man suit, you know, that includes, you know, a little bit more involved with sewing of popping seams and whatnot to be able to do that. And I'm not sure that I want to go down that route. But
Right.
yeah, I don't recall ever seeing Spider-Man use the backpack with the black suit, but it has been a minute. And for what Uncarded was saying, yes, Spider-Man 252 was the first time it showed up in the comics because they published the comics out of order. The same thing that they did with Gambit when he first appeared as a cameo in uh, Uncanny X-Men Annual, what is it, 14 or whatever, as opposed to X-Men 266. 266 was supposed to be the first appearance, but everyone considers the annual the first appearance because, you know, they published it out of order. They, you know, books don't come out on time. Secret Wars was coming out as 12 monthly installments, and then they were just, you know, the main titles weren't really acknowledging Secret Wars because it was all happening on, you know, Battle World or whatever the Beyonders planet was called. And so then when you get the explanation that yes, he went to the machine, he thought about it, he wanted a new suit because his was all ripped up, and instead of being blue and red, it was the black suit, and then we learned later that the black suit was alive. It was a symbiote. He brought it back with him, and then, you know, we are where we are now. So yes, we're both
So
wrong and we're both right.
yeah. So uncarded, I guess this is for you.
Having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
Oh my God, uncarded in the house. Brad, welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. Jazz Inc. is making another 66. I know they're making the 68. I can't wait for you to get it, my friend. It's going to be amazing. Make sure you post pictures. Local said that's my face when I throw this guy. Also, guys, I wanted to point out something that William brought up as well. And also for Joker J, you did say that. My thing was the thing I was saying that I didn't think about was that, you know, it didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? You said it the exact same thing, but it didn't make sense. Like when every time Hot Toys makes a head sculpt, it's included in every figure, in every SKU. So my thing was, why would they ever make that? And same thing you said, obviously a while ago. But that's what I couldn't make sense out of. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So that's so I'm not saying you never said that. It's just, you know, that's the thing that's bothering me. Another thing I wanted to point out that Will talked about. So as you can see, this is the muscularity and the muscle tone of this body. Okay. So let me show you what this one looks like so you can see. So look, there's literally none, right? There's no muscle whatsoever. It's literally a straight line, right? Look at this one. So this is another reason how, look at the shoulder. Look how muscular. You can see muscle striations there. If you really look hard, you can see, you know, obviously the piece of the body there under this, the skin tight suit. But as you can see, this is a muscular body, right? You can see the round shoulder. You can see bicep. you could see that there's muscle there, right? This is another way that they're able to keep the figures at that price, right? By giving you smaller bodies, by giving you bodies that are not so intricate, not so, not so fancy. So William talking about the size of the figure, right? It could be an issue, right? I doubt it's going to be an issue, right? I can guarantee you that when this figure comes in and you have these from the same line, right? I can guarantee you they're going to look exactly the same, besides the fact that one's more muscular than the other. I don't think they're going to be shorter in size. I hope not, at least. They shouldn't be anyway. So this is why they're able to keep the prices. So don't expect the same exact Hot Toys bodies in the figure. It doesn't mean that they may not, that they're not using Hot Toys bodies. They absolutely could be, right? For all we know. And we'll only find out, number one, when we get the figures in hand, right? If somebody decides to cut this open and see what's under there, that's the only reason, that's the only way we're going to be able to find out. Obviously, the Wolverine, I don't know if they're going to have any type of branding on it that says Hot Toys or Hono. Remember that Hot Toys recently started branding their head sculpts, whether it's on the neck, at the bottom of the neck, or inside the actual head sculpt, depending on what style of head sculpt you got. They've been doing that lately to I guess to avoid the somebody getting confused with or tricked with a recast or something like that. They're stamping their figures now. So, William, what is it about this figure that you would change, if anything? Here is the two sets of eyes that he talked about earlier, guys. One's obviously slightly bigger than the other. I don't know how I feel about these. The standard ones I like better. How do you feel? How do you feel about this at this price point as well? 175. So he probably comes out to 2 and change. Another thing, do you justify this price being what it is compared to the Wolverine that is 160?
No. That's why I said I wouldn't, if I didn't have the thank you code in my rewards, I wouldn't have purchased this right now. If anything, I would wait for it to be in stock because I get my military discount on
How come I don't get that discount?
because you're not in the military.
I thought you said you were my friend, so we're both in the military.
Thank you for your service. But it's they dipped their toes in the water with Wolverine, and whether they were not having a big enough margin for how much they were going to make off of each figure. Immediately the Magneto was more than the Wolverine, and I believe it was 175 as well. But it's they're giving you the prices that Hot Toys used to be, and then people are all like, oh, look how low this is, and it's like, well, it's actually that's what they all were. And now they're more, double, triple that price for some of the figures. And for newer collectors, they're gonna be like, oh, this is so much more affordable than buying a Hot Toys, because like look at Hono Wolverine versus Hugh Jackman Wolverine. It's like, you get different stuff, it's apples to oranges, but if you just want a Wolverine, 160 with a coupon and everything else, sounds a whole lot better than 300 plus shipping and tax. And with Wolverine or with Spider-Man, it's like him costing more than Wolverine, and Wolverine having the seamless arms and all the effects and stuff like that. And it's
Thule who asked for this.
and so
don't be a peasant, Thule.
It's just it's if they keep the price at 175, okay, but if they've already gone up in the price, 2 figures in and the price already went up, then it's like, okay, what are you going to keep? Homo, the affordable line is still just going to keep raising. And then and they announced, or they teased Thor, and Thor never even has a prototype yet, and it's like, and then Spider-Man comes out of nowhere with but they we don't even get a picture of Thor, and then there's no tease for Spider-Man, and all of a sudden it's like, here you go.
Brett says 266 is the first appearance in canon He was never acknowledged in the annual. Been collecting comics for 40 years.
Well, I can show you the comic if you really want to see Brad, and he's in like 12 different panels, and it was published before 266. So, if you
Oh,
want to argue with CGC and a bunch of other people, go right ahead. But otherwise, just go back to shilling for in art.
oh, Brad. See what happens when you collect the company. You don't like Hot Toys, so you're usually
Wrong.
But now I'm losing trust in you because I trusted your knowledge of comic books, and we got William, who doesn't even collect comic books, who's more knowledgeable than you.
I don't collect comics. How dare you, sir?
Wrong.
So this is what's happening, Brad. So this is why we need to have a conversation backstage. Also, guys, one thing I wanted to point out. So look at the shoe, right? Just to show you that they're trying to keep it uniform, trying to keep at least the line uniform, right? So as you can see, look at that foot, and I'm going to show you that foot. Same exact thing, same exact shape, same exact articulation.
So
right?
his toes bend on the red one,
Absolutely. So
but you don't see a seam on the bottom?
You do, but it's red, so it's not, not so
Okay.
obvious. See? But see, if I see it right there, you could see it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just because it's red, you don't see it. So, like I said, if once you get the figure in hand, you're going to be able to see. Obviously, if they kept the same scale, if they look, the same size. If I can tell you already, this one, right, the black one, it's going to feel, right, at least slightly cheaper, which is supposed to. But I can tell you, looking at them next to each other, there's going to be absolutely no problem. You're not going to be able to tell, oh, this is bad quality, this is cheap quality, because it's not, right? Another thing, I feel like the price went up for this one specifically because of the fact that, which it doesn't make sense what I'm about to say, right? Because, for example, the Wolverine is 160, right? You need to paint arms, right? You need to detail arms. You need to work on the holes of the blades for the hands, right? I feel like there's more work going into the Wolverine. Not only that, you got the pads, right? You got the shoulder pads for the figure. You got all these things that, again, to me, cost more money. So how is this? How and why is this more expensive? Well, I'm going to say that them making this mold for this backpack costs money. I can tell you them working on these bendable wires. Obviously, again, they've never done this before. This is new innovation. This is new accessories, right? Not coming from Hot Toys, but I can tell you they're practicing with the cheap company to then, once they master or they see, all right, this was a hit, let's start using it for Hot Toys. Remember this conversation? You heard it here first. So William, why do you think, what were you saying about the price point? Why do you think it was more expensive again?
Just that they've already, they might have been selling Wolverine, without enough of a profit margin. For all we know, they're selling it for less than what it costs, which is something that companies do when they get out to, test the waters. Like the original Xbox, when it came out, they were selling it for a loss because they make their money on the accessories and the games. And so, Brad, look, okay, Brad, pull up the publication date, not the timeline inside the comic, the publication date of which comic was published first, Annual 14 or X-Men 266. Go ahead, I'll wait for you.
Brad,
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Because they published them out of order because 266 was delayed. That's where the argument comes from. But anyway, back to Spider-Man.
He's like, but anyway.
I have a Mezco Spidey that has the same backpack and the bendable web. So a 1/12 scale one.
Oh, you do?
So,
okay.
So it's actually looks like a recast of the backpack.
But do you think that's one of the reasons why it goes up in price? Because again, remember what I'm comparing. I'm comparing a Wolverine that looks more intricate,
Oh, yeah.
fancier than this, right? The only thing that makes this what it is the accessories. Even though you don't have to put anything on it, and it's still a very sexy outfit just as is, right? You don't need anything coming out of it. You don't need any webs. You don't need any backpack. You don't need anything. It on its own shows its presence, and it shows you what it is, right? But when it comes to value regarding the two of them, I believe and I think that the Wolverine should have been more money because you're getting more stuff with this. Like I said, the backpack alone is a brand new mold that they had to make. So I understand why. Obviously, we got to pay a little bit more, even though it's $15. But remember, $15 multiplied by thousands, it's a lot of money.
The Magneto only comes with the helmeted head, right? It doesn't have an unmasked head sculpt.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
And
so it's very basic, right?
But if they had the same order numbers for Magneto as they had for Wolverine, then that right there would justify keeping the price the same for Spider-Man, because why do we want to fluctuate the price if people are willing to pay for it? Hopefully this becomes the new price point that they don't go above, because, then you start encroaching on the $200 mark, and then it becomes, it's cheaper.
I think that's inevitable anyway. I think eventually, I don't think so soon, but I think what's going to happen is this. I think they're going to start giving us figures that are wanted, right? Are going to be desired by people, are going to be like, oh, and keeping it, because it's going to happen. You're going to get to 180, 185, 190. And this is only going to happen according to the types and amounts of accessories that they're going to give you. Now, it looks like they're keeping it very minimal. So I doubt that it's going to happen anytime soon. But what's going to trigger that increase is going to be, their excuse is going to be inflation. Their excuse is going to be, oh, well, everything's expensive. And like I said, little by little, they have to increase, because they know that once they got you with these figures, you're going to buy them anyway. You're just going to buy. You're not going to talk about, oh, it's only $5 more, I don't want it. No, you're going to buy it because you're going to make you want to buy them. So one thing I was going to ask you, do you think that they're making something like this, for example, to pair up with figures that they already made? So, for example, I have two of these, right? Two of these limited ones. I think I got them from you. I think I got definitely one from you, right? Did I not?
Yeah.
So now that I have these, right? I have two of these. Obviously, this is a no-brainer for me. Just not because of anything else, but besides the fact that they're from the same line, right? Even though I love my symbiote suits, even though I love anything black suit Spider-Man, even though I love Venom, even though all that stuff, right? I don't have to get this because this is very basic and it is what it is, right? But I'm 100% getting it because I know it's going to look incredible next to this guy. So do you think that that's part of the strategy as well, to start making things to pair up with Hot Toys figures? Obviously, if you have Wolverine, right, you got Wolverine, they made Magneto, that's strictly for X-Men, right? There's nothing from Hot Toys that you could kind of attach to that, because remember, it's animated. This here, though, even though also it's animated, but this is animated coming from Hot Toys. So the fact that they're doing it from the same line, to me, it's like, all right, well, they belong together, so I have to get them. Do you think that's a thing or no?
Not necessarily, because I wouldn't really call this animated. I'd call it comic book style.
Well, comic book, correct.
Right. Well, it's like the X-Men ones could be animated style, because of 97, because they were very close to when they put it out.
So you're
like
saying comic book and cartoon are two different worlds.
I would say from a collector's standpoint, yes, because you have people like you just went off on the whole story of you're remembering the cartoon version of Spider-Man versus the uncarded, talking about the comic book history of this suit. So it's whichever one you associate with it is which one going to be your, like, I want this because of the cartoon, I want this because of the comic. Right. And yeah, all the Hono ones now seem to come with that comic book backdrop thing specifically to display a comic with it.
So it's comic related.
Right. And And with this, it's such an iconic and classic look for Spider-Man where, yeah, they've put out the video game version of it, but it's, not, it's not, this. It's such a classic basic look, like how you said.
Just continue. Don't read the comment. Just continue.
I already read it.
He like pauses mid-sentence to read the comment, and then he loses his train.
But he just said, look what he said. Just because it came out first doesn't make it first. Shut up, Brad. Like, you're sounding like Joe Biden right now. Just because I did it first doesn't mean I did it first. Dang it. Anyway,
oh my God,
people have wanted this suit for such a long time, and when all they had was the video game version, that's what they were going to buy.
Right.
Because it's like, this is the closest I've gotten to the suit that I grew up with, the suit that I remember, the suit that became, the catalyst for Venom. Right. And, being able to get this, for a lot of people, especially for only $175 minus coupons and everything else,
right.
It's a no-brainer from a collective standpoint. What's that?
Right. No, I said if you have any coupons, yes.
Yes.
And another thing that you mentioned that I think it's a good point. One thing is comparing, I'm not gonna say you said comparing, but let's say, for example, talking about that black suit from the video game. Obviously, compared to this, it's night and day, right? Two different worlds, two completely different worlds. So now let's talk about quality. Would you say, because what you just said was, this is what I remember, so this is why I'm going to get the video game one because it's the only one we have anyway, right? So now this one comes out. So now the people who bought the first one, the video game one, obviously are very happy with what they got. Do you think that this is going to be appealing to those people and say, oh, man, I really like that basic look now having the good quality one? Or do you think they're just going to be like, oh, having a different style of this black suit Spider-Man, I have no reason why not buy it?
If they've already purchased the more expensive one, I don't really see too many people running out to be first in line to get this. If you're a Spider-Man enthusiast, a Spider-Man completist, where you want your whole across the Spider-Verse line of every suit, obviously they're going to, want it and be already ordering it. But it's just like when a new version of any, like the 2.0s come out of any figure, if you're happy with the 1.0, you're not going to buy the 2.0. There might be better accessories, there might be an improvement, but if yours is still doing the job that you want it to do, there's no reason to be like, well, now I want to go spend $350 for a figure that I paid $200 for just because it's the 2024 version. It's, some people trade in their cars every 2 years because they want that new. Yep. And some people will drive an 81 Honda Civic until the thing blows up because it gets them from A to B and it functions.
That's true. And that's very, you see that, very often when a new figure is announced and then everybody's selling their old stuff because they just want the new one.
Yep. And it is what it is. It's part of collecting. It's, everyone collects in different ways.
We got Chris in the house. Welcome, my friend from the UK. Thank you for being here. Shout out to the UK. Bangers and mash, teas and crumpets. Welcome, my friend. Joker J says, even at entry level, we get ripped off. Exactly, right? We never win. Will is wrong. I thought Biden was struggling. Oh, man. Chris,
I said he was struggling. Now he's arguing the fact that I said something. I thought he was struggling. That's what I said. God.
Oh, man, you guys.
Brad, you're the new Thomas Jane. You've made the list.
Thomas Jones.
See, I don't even remember his name. That's how unimportant he is.
Because he's a peasant.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I play Putin, COVID, and innards for all the price. It is true. Oh man, going to Home Depot. Anyone need anything nail gun adhesive and a few landscaper, perhaps? Unbelievable. You guys are crazy. All right, so William, 1 to 10, and are you getting this?
Yes, I ordered it with my thank you coupon and rewards. 1 to 10, I'd say he's 8.5 to 9 based off of what I'm seeing. It's like a little bit of the weird seam right above the symbol, and such. It's like
Wait, what do you mean? Where? Here?
no, on his chest, right above that. Is that a seam? What is that?
No, no, that's like the insert of like this is the body here,
Yeah,
and
and
then
that's
this
the
is like
neck.
right. So it's like a gap in there.
Right. And so just like seeing something like that where it doesn't
So you're
quite
like
have
here and you don't see nothing because it's
stretched
extended.
out.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well,
Yep.
it's okay. So I'd say, basically a 9. It's if he had a slightly more muscular body, just because like you look at the comic book that's displayed behind him in the picture, that's what they're obviously trying to say. This is the look of
Right.
Spider-Man, and he's
Right.
just a little bit more broad. And I know it, like you said, more cost-effective bodies and stuff like that. But
Correct.
in hand, it might look great. It might look exactly the same size. But
Absolutely.
like I told you backstage, from a couple angles, it looks like Miles Morales wearing a black suit, and it's like, Peter Parker is a taller, more muscular dude than Miles Morales, and so I'm hoping it's just the angles and everything else, and then in hand it'll be a fun cloth suited figure to pose that you're not worrying about creasing
Right.
and flaking and all the other
Correct.
stuff that goes with
Correct.
that. So you can do a lot of fun stuff without being like, all right, I took one picture, let me fold it out real quick and hope that one seam doesn't stay, even though I only had them bent for 30 seconds.
Well, so I was going to ask you. Now, that's a great point because I wanted to ask you about the quality and how and what we should expect. So, do you believe or do you think at least that Hono will give us more rugged figures, more things that are not easily ruined, or do you think it's going to be pretty much the same exact thing, just a cheaper way of making it?
Um,
Because, for example, and the reason I'm asking this is because of the point you brought up with the fold, right? Let's say you bend the arm and there's a little a fold on there, right? Obviously, with this type of material, you could stretch it out; there'll be no problem.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Do you think that this is a something that they're doing on purpose to avoid issues, or is just this is the most basic material there is?
I hope it's a little bit of both
Right.
because, like in the cosplay world, the costuming world and stuff, it's like, does it look good and does it function versus will it last?
Right.
It's like, you want to look good like from a distance, just like movie costumes. You have the hero suit and you have the stunt suit. The hero suit is for close-ups. The stunt suit is made out of material that they can actually move their head, neck, and everything else
Right.
instead of looking exactly like. So if, using a quote cheaper fabric, meaning that you have full movability, I'm all for it. Because just because it's a cheaper fabric doesn't mean it's cheap. It's like it's cheaper to make, but doesn't mean it's cheap quality in
Correct.
regards to it being, uh, stretchy lycra type material and
Correct.
all that stuff.
Correct.
And with anything, if you treat it like garbage, it's not gonna last.
Correct.
So it's if you're like, if I want to take his arm and just keep rotating it around in a circle, you're going to rip the seam and people are going to cry, be like, oh, I didn't know you couldn't just keep moving the seam and, twisting it. And you've seen it. You see people do it all
Absolutely.
the time.
I didn't know we
And
couldn't break the figure. What do you mean?
yeah, and it's like, that's why Hot Toys has the little instructions. They're like, this only goes 20
Right.
degrees.
Right.
And people are like, that's not what an arm does. Snap. Oh no, I broke my toy.
Yeah. And then, Sideshow, it came broken. It came broken out of the box. Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
like I'm hoping, like, when they do announce the Thor, that it's gonna have, it's probably gonna have arms just like Wolverine, big old, muscular, seamless arms, but the rubber, hopefully no pleather at all, because
Right.
pleather is not it's either use genuine leather or do molded. It's you can just do molded and you paint it and it looks great because pleather is gonna look good, but
Yeah,
no
but
ple
I feel like if they go molded, it'll cheapen the whole figure, though. No.
it depends on how they make it look.
Right.
Like, I don't have the Hono Wolverine in hand yet, but like his belt, it's like it's material, but it's not like leather.
Right.
Even though, if it was a real costume type thing, then the leather is something that belt might be made out of. And
Gotcha.
so it's like, using something that looks good, maybe molded was the wrong choice of words, but you
Oh,
can
no,
have
but I know what you mean. I know what you mean by molded.
but just like a fabric pouch versus a pleather pouch,
Correct.
it's like that fabric pouch is going to look good.
It's gonna last forever too.
And close up from angles far away, it looks like what it's supposed to look like. But the pleather ones, it's like, oh cool, it looks like leather. And then 5 years later, it just starts flaking on its own, even if you've kept it in a perfect temperature controlled everything, because no material lasts forever. But that's with all of our toys, on a long enough timeline. Like I have a not Mezco, Mego Spider-Man, if you know that brand from the 70s. And it's like an 8-inch figure, and his costume is still there. It's a little faded, but that toy is older than me, and it's still rocking. And yeah, if you stretch it at certain angles, you can see some seams that don't like what you're doing.
Right.
But things will last for quite a while if you're not stupid with it.
Right. No, and it's true. A lot of people abuse their figures, and I can tell you this from experience. I've seen, being around for as long as I've been around, obviously seeing people post their stuff. I've seen people with a figure that is a week old, up for sale, ruined, something ripped, something broken, and my mentality, my mindset has always been, what the hell do these people do to these figures at home that they look like this? How like what type of savage are you that your figure a week old is broken, ruined, ripped, scuffed, stained? Like, what do you do with these figures? It's nothing new. It's been happening forever. And then, like I said, you'll see them up and people will sell them just as is. People buy them for parts. People will fix them up, or try to fix them up at least if they can. So they do sell, again, depending on how destroyed they are. But it's like, what the hell are you doing to these figures? You're spending all this money to treat them like garbage? I could never. That's why from the very beginning, I never wanted to pose anything, because I'm like, this is going to get ruined over time. So I just would put them on the shelf and leave them alone. And guys, last but not least, we got our last release for the day, Neytiri from the Avatar movie. So this is the very first time, guys, that they make Neytiri as a figure. They've made Jake Sully for the first movie, which you saw for those who watch. I watched on Tuesday. I showed it. Great figure, beautiful, very detailed. Everything on it is plastic. But now we get the female, right? So obviously this is a must for me. As you can see, it has rolling eyes, which is something new that they're doing now with this figure. They didn't do with Jake Sully, the first release of Jake Sully. I'm assuming that the new Jake Sully also has the rolling eyes as well. William, how do you feel about the figure? We talked about this before. Wait, let me say hello to Cassandra. Cassandra, how are you? Welcome. I apologize because I know that you were here Tuesday. You were here Tuesday at the end of the show, so I apologize. But hello, thank you for being here as always. William, so tell us everything about the figure. And how do you feel about the movies too?
I've actually haven't seen the second movie yet. I haven't gotten around to watching it. You've seen it?
I started to. I watched the first 10 minutes and I said, this is for peasants.
I watched the first movie. I liked it when I watched it, but that was 12 years ago. I haven't watched the second one yet. It's this looks like a Na'vi, the species from Avatar. Disney's going all in with Avatar now that they own it flat out.
Is that why? Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you go to Animal Kingdom at Disney World in Florida, there's a whole Avatar part of Animal Kingdom where you walk in and there's rocks floating in the air and stuff. It's very neat. Couple great Avatar rides, and part of the expansion in Disneyland California is going to be an Avatar land that they just got approved from the state. for their expansion for
Let-
Disneyland. But
Let me tell you something. I don't know
yeah.
if you guys noticed this, but here it says there's like initials here, and from far, right from this angle, it looks like it's THOT, thought. Okay, but then when you go
Thought?
up, yeah, but then when you go up, it's THRT. Imagine that. But go ahead, continue. See, he said thought and disappeared. Unbelievable. All right, so as you can see, guys, very detailed, right? A lot, not a lot on her. This is very basic. This is very basic. This is very basic. William, where'd you go? Oh, there you go. Go ahead, continue.
Am I here? Okay. Sorry, my Ring doorbell went off. My episode 2 Anakin was just delivered. But
Oh, nice. I should go.
but you know, it's everyone's they hate on anything that they want to hate on. They're talking about the exposed joints and everything else, and if they made it seamless, then they would cry when they cracked because, you know, of a
Exactly.
painted rubber body is not going to stay painted.
Exactly. Bunch of peasants. All they
it's
do is
just-
complain about nothing. Complain about nothing. Just a reason to complain. Reason to complain. That's why I don't listen to
It's like
nobody.
if you like the movie, or if you have a happy memory about the movie and everything else, you know, especially being able to get 2 of them now to pose together as opposed to just Jake from the first movie. With upgraded, you know, materials. I'm sure the joints are better on this than Jake's were. If I remember correctly, Jake's got a little loose for
Yes,
some people
over
just
time,
because of
over
the
time.
you know, it's the size of it. It's, you know, ask any like 7-foot tall dude in real life how good his knees are. It's generally not that good.
Right.
It's
Literally, no, for real.
yeah,
People don't think
and
about
it's they look nice, and together they look even better.
Absolutely.
I just haven't seen the second movie, and I know James Cameron, you know, wants them to be perfect, the movies and all that stuff, but you need to put them out quicker than every 12 years. Otherwise, you know, it's
quicker than every 12 years.
I'm just saying, it's, you know,
So,
they look real neat.
No, they look great. They look, like you said, they look great together. Look at that. Incredible. Finally having the pair in your collection. I mean, my collection is going to be great. But obviously you got to get these cheaper because to me, you know, right now they're not worth that. And let me tell you guys something. So I've been looking for Tyler and Johnson, the two military guys, and I found both of them for $250. Okay, listen to this: $250 or best offer. So I send the guy an offer, and then he says he declines the offer. And then I said, "Hey, can you give me a deal on both of them?" He says, "Sure." I come back, so I'm waiting for the response, and the price goes from $250 to $310. And then he messaged me and goes, "Hey, the price went up." I said, "Block the hell out of here." Can you imagine, scumbag, trying to rip me off? So
I saw one of them's on Ami if you want to buy from Japan.
How much?
I don't know. It's in Japan yen. I don't convert.
I don't convert.
I'm not a calculator.
So William, 1 to 10, and we're out of here.
I'd say both of these together is a 10. It looks just like the movie. It looks like a scene from the movie. If you had them standing on their own, I'd say it'd be like a 9-ish, just because I think alone they don't look good. It's like if you had a shelf with just Jake, it's like, okay, that's
like
a big ass toy on one shelf.
Yep,
but then you have both of them, and then they have like the deluxe base or whatever that's like, you know, like the fluorescent and stuff. You could have like a whole little scene, and it would just be like, bam, that's my Avatar shelf instead of that's my Jake Sully or that's my weird blue female fetish shelf.
Yeah, this is the base. This is the deluxe base, as you can see. They light up. They all light up. Jake Sully's original one lights up. And these, obviously, these two light up as well. So very, very cool figures. I love them. I think they're very nice. They're very detailed. Look at all the leopard print on them. Just beautiful figures overall. I'm supposed to be getting William just got his Anakin, you said?
Yes.
I'm getting my Mace Windu today delivered. It was delayed yesterday. It was supposed to be here yesterday. It'll be here today. And I think there is something else that I'm supposed to be getting. Let me see. Yeah, so far just that one. Just oh, and my what do you call it? That's the other one. My Rambo 2 figure by 30. That should be coming soon within the next few days, I hope. William, are you expecting anything else beside Anakin?
Yeah, Will from Stranger Things from 30 is supposed to be here too, but he won't be opened until Evie comes back from her army stuff.
Gotcha.
Which she should come back for sporadic weekends here, so it won't be like
Oh,
forever.
I was
But
gonna say you said 6 months. I'm like, shoot, you're gonna wait
yeah,
6 months to open that?
well, this one she's in Georgia, so she can take holidays and stuff like that. So 4th of
Oh,
July she's supposed to come back,
gotcha.
and we got some other stuff planned for later. So it's not as bad as when she's deployed or locked down at like a hardcore army school. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so I got Will from Stranger Things, and I got a B1 battle droid.
Oh, you did finally? For
For,
what?
yeah, for
$50?
something like that.
See what I mean?
Yeah, and
Unbelievable.
it's
Unbelievable.
the deals just come to me. I don't know why.
What a peasant. We got Rob in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. I didn't even see you all day. Mace inbound today was supposed to, yep, same with me. There you go. Yeah, I don't know why they
Oh,
did
and
that.
Cody might be here today. Chrome
What?
Cody.
Home?
Yeah, from
Mine?
Sideshow.
No, but mine only, it was charging 2 days, 2 days ago. The 19th, I believe. No, the 20th.
Let me check.
Yeah, it was charging 2 days ago or yesterday. So I know that didn't ship yet.
Mine did.
Oh, mine didn't. Yeah, no, mine didn't at all. But I know it was supposed to charge 2 days ago, so definitely didn't ship. So we'll see. All right, guys. So we'll be back on Saturday. Don't be late. Probably I want to say 8:45-ish. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.